This is how to instantly spot a narcissistic relationship. You'll be instantly enlightened. Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel, focusing on narcissism and the journey of healing from narcissistic relationships. Today, I want to address a question that therapists often find intriguing, and it's a telltale sign of whether someone is actually going through a narcissistic relationship. So much of what I've learned about narcissistic abuse and relationships has come from my experiences, some people, and engaging with large groups of people who are navigating similar situations. I also keep an eye on the public conversation surrounding narcissistic relationships. Unfortunately, I've noticed that many individuals facing narcissistic relationships often encounter doubt about their experiences. There's a pervasive belief in some circles that those in narcissistic relationships are merely playing the victim or labeling everyone as narcissistic out of disappointment or anger. But here's the thing, it's not that simple. Today, we're going to unpack this misconception and explore the nuances of identifying narcissistic dynamics in relationships. If you find this content valuable, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more discussions like this. Let's dive in. You know, the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot these days, and sometimes it's not used quite right. That's just how things are these days. Everyone's got their own take on it. But here's what I've noticed, especially when I'm chatting with folks in therapy or during Q&A sessions. It's something that really stands out to me when people talk about their experiences with narcissistic relationships. You ready for it? When someone's going through a tough time with a narcissist, they hardly ever start off by saying, "Oh, my partner's a narcissist," or "my mom's a narcissist." It's almost never the first thing they bring up. You know, when folks are in the thick of a narcissistic relationship, here's what they usually start off with when they come to talk to me. They'll say things like, "My relationship's all messed up, and I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do." Or they'll admit, "I feel like nothing I try is working lately." Some even say, "I feel like I'm trapped in my younger self. I just want to break free, but I'm lost." And then there's the classic, "I'm just so confused about everything." Others might confess, "I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I need help." Sometimes it's, "My partner keeps blaming me for everything and says I need therapy." And then there's, "I always feel like I'm messing up, and I don't know how to fix it. I need guidance." Or, "I'm worried I might have some kind of disorder." Or maybe, "I'm the one causing all the problems." Or simply, "I'm constantly on edge, and it's driving my family crazy." So, take a moment to let those sink in. That's the real deal I hear from folks: confusion, turmoil, self-doubt. What I hardly ever hear off the bat is someone coming in and saying, "Hey, my spouse is a narcissist." Or, "Help me deal with my narcissistic mom." Or, "Why does it seem like everyone I meet is a narcissist?" We might get to that eventually, but that's rarely how the conversation starts. You know, I got this question, and it got me thinking. They were like, "Hey, if a person just walks in and says, 'My partner's a narcissist,' doesn't that make them sound kind of passive?" And that got me reflecting on something important. When folks start realizing someone in their life might be a narcissist, whether it's a partner, a parent, or whoever, their main struggle isn't just labeling them. It's dealing with a whole bunch of messy emotions. We're talking anxiety, guilt, grief, and a whole lot of confusion. It's like this heavy realization sinking in that there might not be much they can do about it. And let's be real, nobody's thrilled to find out someone they care about might be a narcissist. It's a tough pill to swallow because deep down, we all want to believe the best about the people we love. We want to come from loving families, be in loving relationships, and work in places where we feel safe. But facing the reality that someone close to us might have narcissistic traits, it's not exactly a cause for celebration. When someone starts to realize that someone they care about might be a narcissist, especially if they're talking about it in therapy, it's like opening a can of worms. Suddenly, there's this flood of self-doubt, blame, and shame. It's like we're desperate to find any reason to think it's our fault, like maybe we're just not seeing things clearly or giving them enough chances. You know, there's this great book called "It's Not You" that really hits the nail on the head with this. But here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes it's the very people who seem to be causing all the trouble who start throwing around the term narcissist like confetti. I've had folks come into my therapy room saying stuff like, "Everyone around me is a narcissist," or "Nobody ever treats me right," or "I bend over backward for people and I get nothing in return." When I hear that, I got to admit, I start asking some pretty pointed questions. Discovering that someone in your life is a narcissist is like a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's crucial because it stops you from wasting your time and energy trying to please someone who can never be pleased. But on the other hand, it's heartbreaking because most people who find themselves in these situations are genuinely caring, patient individuals who just wanted a healthy, loving relationship. Learning about narcissism sheds light on past experiences, sure, but it also shatters any hope you had for the relationship, for the future, and for the person you cared about. It's devastating. If you're wondering whether people toss around the term narcissism just to dodge accountability, think again. What exactly would they be dodging responsibility for? There's no pot of gold waiting for survivors of narcissistic abuse. In reality, they often face skepticism, shame, and criticism when they try to talk about their experiences. So, this idea of a free pass doesn't hold water. Survivors of narcissistic abuse typically blame themselves excessively, so it's clear they're already carrying more than their fair share of responsibility. Discovering that someone close to you might be a narcissist isn't exactly a joyful revelation. You'd almost prefer if they had a more understandable issue, like depression, rather than facing the reality of narcissism. However, acknowledging it can be liberating. It offers a key insight that can help break free from self-blame and the endless loops of feeling trapped. Whether you decide to stay or leave, knowing the truth can be a step towards reclaiming your freedom. Let me tell you, folks dealing with narcissistic abuse aren't out there pointing fingers at everyone, screaming, "Narcissist." No, sir. Instead, they're grappling with a deep sense of distrust in themselves and their own judgment. Long-term abuse messes with your head, makes you question if you're seeing things straight, and fills your mind with doubts in social settings. You might even feel it in your gut when you're around these toxic patterns. But then you start questioning even those instincts, thinking maybe you're just overreacting or imagining things. It's a real mind game, let me tell you. To those who might question if everyone's a bit narcissistic, the answer is no. And for those wondering if everyone's labeling everyone as narcissistic, it's often the ones experiencing narcissistic abuse who are least likely to recognize it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from it. And hey, if you're looking for more guidance on dealing with narcissistic behavior, be sure to check out the free book and schedule a one-on-one consultation using the link in the description. Thanks again for tuning in. Your support means the world.